Hey, this is Gene. In a couple hours is the Manchester Derby, but we're not talking about that today. I will definitely like those 2 hours to just kind of like get me away from everything that's happening. But I need to talk about this thing now. Was the shooter a Groyper? And why the left is using it, I guess almost to excuse the fact that it happened. All the people now, all over TikTok now, basically saying that he did it, that is a Groyper who did it. And I'm like, okay, so what? I mean, obviously, I don't think it is. Obviously, I think that he was a lefty, and I think that his family said that he had a falling out with him. That he was, he got indoctrinated, probably the fry by his transgender girlfriend, whatever they're called, or at school or whatever. This happens. This idea that you grew up in a conservative family, that now you as a person is going to be conservative, is just ludicrous. I mean, I was a liberal, classical liberal. My kids are liberal, but they look at me now that I think they think I'm conservative. I'm not. I'm still a classical liberal. I've stayed right here. My party, I was a Democrat for a long time, is just went so far to the left that I've stayed right there. And I saw that meme that Elon Musk put out, and that's basically me now. Definitely, I've got more hard on certain things. How we deal with Israel and stuff, and actually talking about my heritage, what it means to be European, American, whatever. I didn't necessarily do 15 years ago. Um, but this, it's like, okay, if it was all true, so we have a deranged Groyper that um, did this, which I still don't believe. What are are you saying that's a good reason to excuse what happened? That's kind of the weird thing. And they're out there, and a lot of them are women, of course, and they just look at all this, and it's this and this and this, and I'm like, I don't. It's almost like they're excusing the act. Are you trying to say that this person then apparently was someone on the right that got radicalized? Okay, but aren't we gonna we need to talk about what the person actually did, right? Um, whatever. But it's just weird. It's like each day it's like we got to figure out something else, and it's on both sides. I have to say, they're right away say, well, he has got a transgender partner, so that means he's on the left. I'm like, well, it probably means that. Probably the indications would say that's probably true, but there are people that are gay and or transgenders that are not on the left. But young man that's trying to become a woman, I would say that person probably has a propensity to be more liberal. um, I don't know this person's background. I know when he started trying to transitioning. Um, it's weird. So I did a video this morning, or I did a small dick TikTok, just talking about Charlie, and he's getting maligned, let's say, because the words that he says are just never made in full context, and people just use two or three sentences, and they won't look at the entire thing. It's the same thing they did to Trump during Charlottesville when he said there were good people on both sides. They just don't continue on and say, I will disavow the white nationalists. Now, again, I wouldn't say that. I think that a white nationalist, whatever that actually means, if you're a Christian nationalist or a white nationalist, I think you have the authority or the ability should be able to march wherever they want to do. That's allowed, right? You're not going to go to a private place, but if it's a public park or if it's been cordoned off for a protest, I think that they should be allowed to do it. Now, of course, if they incite violence or they have a rope around them and or the new KKK type of thing, the idea when you actually advocate for your race, your group of people, your background, it's fine for everybody else to do it, but sometimes it's not so well looked at if you look like me. Those signs that they put around the campuses, they did it in Central Florida. It says it's okay to be white. and they consider that some sort of a hate crime, and then it's something that we had to be really concerned about because that means that obviously something on campuses they're showing white people are trying to get together, but you could definitely just do any other group and it would be fine. And in fact, it would be celebrated by other white people. So it's almost like a meme itself to get a reaction from the other side. Now, I don't believe this. I believe that this kid clearly was either he's gay or he just has that. He wants to have a whatever. That's his whatever. I think that he was upset because some of the things that Charlie's had said about trans, but still, Charlie always looked at those people, those people. Oh my God, that's racist. Um, he came with love. He says, I have a problem with maybe your behavior because it goes against my biblical worldview. But as Christians, we're supposed to, this is, supposed to accept it, but we also understand that it's not what God wants. So when you're doing stuff and changing your body, you're basically saying, God, you didn't do the right thing. Now I know we do things like that. I know my son had a lot of issues, and I would like him to have been better as far as his physical side and mental side, but I would never change exactly how he was. And just a small personal story. We were in England. I was stationed in England, and we went to his what's the 20th week ultrasound. And this is on the National Healthcare Service that they had, um, and they looked at stuff at it. And they told us that there was something wrong with the bones and stuff like that. And they could go ahead and abort him. I'm like, what? I mean, it's that is like, no. What are you talking about? Whatever it is, it's going to be, and if we got to take care of it, whatever. Yeah, and of course, it was tough. He had about 4 or 5 times he almost died on us, and they told us he would never live to be anything. And he's 26 now, and he's the greatest person I've ever met in my life. He has all the shit he's gone through, and he still has the greatest outlook on life. It's just it's like God chooses certain kids like that. When we see them, like the kids are in cancer wards, and they are so happy all the time. And yeah, you don't think that they're not concerned the fact that there's a possibility they might die, but they're always happy. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. Uh, those who have issues like Down syndrome are almost always the happiest people in the room. And we are chosen by God to have these type of kids. And I just married my wife, and we had Ryan, and he was fine. And then right away we had a second one, and it changed everything. It absolutely did. It clearly made us closer to each other in a lot of places that might have actually destroyed a family. Um, but we would never have ever changed any of it. And I know that in the United States, with that diagnosis, what we were told at that point, I think most people probably would abort their kid. And when I look at what my kid went through, I mean, it's like he gets COVID and everybody's like he's worried about him. And he just, it's like he's unbelievable how nothing affects him anymore. Because he's gone through so much shit that his immune system is like rock solid at this point. He still has challenges, and maybe someday if you look on my channel, he sits with me when I do the movie reviews and stuff. Or if I get like a figure in or something like that, he might sit and we'll do it. So you can see he's not, one could say normal. He is what he is. He's Kyle, and he's probably the greatest person I've ever met in my life. And he's been through so much. So when this shit that's going on, regardless of the delusion on the left or the right or whatever, we understand it's not about conservative and liberal. These are both ideologies. One is not better than the other because each of them, there are certain things for each one that you would say that's good, right? At this point, it becomes good versus evil. So after everything that's gone in my life, even though Kyle and I are a little bit sick this week, but Kyle's like, he's like, I got it. All I have to do is look at him, and I realize what God is and what good is. right? I don't know the man that killed Charlie Cook. I don't understand what his motivation is. All I know is that I don't care anymore. I don't care if he was a Groyper. I don't care if he was so far off the left that he's RuPaul or something. I don't care. This is about good versus evil. And I have to look for people that I want not to follow, but I want them to be leaders in the future because I am not going to be around here much more, right? And I want the United States to be a decent place to live. And I'm going to sit and advocate for my kind, for my family, and what that means. But I'm going to stop right here. Let me know what you think. What do you think we're going to do from now on? Do you think there's going to be a shuffling in the right sphere of politics? Or is it we're going to get to a point now that maybe we're just going to say fuck the shit about the parties and just do what God tells us to do and live a life like that? So let me know what you go in the comments and we'll talk later in the comments. You guys have a good weekend and the rest of the weekend. And just tomorrow, just wake up and just be positive. Let's all put positive energies out in the universe, and hopefully that'll come back and actually bless our country. You guys have a good day. Bye.